started just seeing what's happening around me and seeing how much I need to get close to God again, and seeing that I'm still struggling with the same problems that I've been struggling with all my life, like, you know, pornography and my relationships with other men, like always being closer to women than men.
Yeah.
And as I was listening to Jesse, and then I was, at first I was like, no, I don't need to go forgive my mom. And then I started doing the silent prayer. And I was like, I gotta go do this.
Nice. Yeah. I remember going through the same thing. And guys, we are back on air. Thank you guys. Yes, it is live. We are back. And right on time too, because you gave the story of you didn't need to forgive your mother, and then you started doing the silent prayer, and then you realized that dang, you do need to. That happened to me too. Right. I remember, and that was a time that I don't think I actually forgave them. I said that I told them I resent them, but I didn't say I was sorry. Both my parents. Man, what a punk. Yes, this is live, guys. I am live. I'm back. That's cool, Evan. Appreciate you letting me know. And how did she respond? Just out of curiosity.
Well, first she kind of tried to diffuse it, like, oh, I didn't do that, and then I felt like I had to really punch it, like, no, you did do that because you tapped me into my emotions, which hindered me being able to connect with my dad the way I should have. Yeah. And my dad's already passed away too. Wow. So even in the funeral, like even when my dad passed away, I had trouble like mourning for my dad. Like I almost didn't feel anything. Like it was like a mute thing, and I realized that all stemmed. So I punched that home to her. I was like, no, you did. You tapped me into my emotions, and that turned me away from being a man and being able to connect with my father the way I should have.
Right.
And she was just kind of like, you know, she was like, oh, that's all you had to tell me? Because when I came to her and woke her up, she was freaking out because she thought I was going to tell her, like, I had a baby or something.
Right.
I mean? So she kind of she tried to play it off, but, you know, she just tried to diffuse it, but I hit it hard, and she said, okay, that's cool.
Nice.
And then she's like, I forgive you too. And I'm like, I forgive you. Like, no, that's not what I came here for, you know?
Right.
But anyway, so it was really awkward. I guess the biggest feeling I felt was just, it was awkward feeling. But now that I've done it, it's like, okay, I feel like, all right, I can move forward.
Yeah. That's cool. And how old are you, by the way, Evan?
I am 36 years old. I'm an old man.
I know how it is.
Boy.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate the story. And make sure you call back into the Jesse Lee Peterson show tomorrow or whenever you can to let him know. That's cool. Right on, man.
I'm going to tell him. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Hake. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Evan. Appreciate that.
All right.
Take care.
Okay, goodbye.
Wow. So, guys, in the middle of that, or at the beginning of that guy's call, the stream dropped, and it dropped hard. We couldn't even restart the stream. What a shame, huh? So we restarted. I think that it's probably I think it's an entire new YouTube video. And usually the YouTube, you can drop the stream for, you know, a moment or two or three and start it back up, and it's still the same YouTube video. But I think this is an entire new link. And this is part 2. Such a shame. I'm being abused. This is abuse. This is oppression. Joel's not taking me seriously. Anyways, yeah. I got to read some super chats, guys. And since I had to refresh, I lost all the super chats, but I know right where to find them. Thank you, YouTube. At least you're good for something. Family 53511 gave a couple of super chats and said, Hake and bake. Screw the libs. I disavow. But thank you, man. Hot Computer Smell gave a couple of super chats and said, look out for Hake fan art on Friday. Nice. DLive.tv/Hot Computer Smell. DLive.tv/Hot Computer Smell. Make a DLive account, people. If you're over on YouTube, make sure that you're also on DLive, because you never know what's going to happen with with YouTube. You know, there's this Christian Catholic man, conservative guy. I don't know a lot about him, but I've heard his name a lot lately, named E. Michael Jones, who got a hate strike the other week when some of these whites got banned from YouTube, including Jared Taylor and Richard Spencer, his Radix, National Policy Institute, NPI/Radix channel got banned from YouTube. And some others, David Duke got kicked off. And Stefan Molyneux, huge channel, almost 1 million subscribers. And these are like the nicest. I mean, some of them have edgier material. Some of them may have a problem with the Jews or whatever, but they have the right to the freedom of speech, but not on YouTube. They kicked him off. And in some cases, Stefan Molyneux, no reason, no prior strikes even. Crazy, huh? That I know of. So now E. Michael Jones, too. He got a strike on YouTube for quote-unquote hate speech or something like that, a takedown. And now he's been kicked off of YouTube. So you never know what's going to happen, but whatever. We trudge along because we were here before YouTube and we'll be here after YouTube, right? We appreciate being able to use the platform to reach so many people, right on. And we'll reach others and in other ways, right? But we'll probably stay on YouTube. Who knows, right? Don't know the future. Look out for Hake fan art on Friday, dlive.tv/hotcomputersmell. And she also gave a diamond. Thank you. Agent Black says, blessings, James. Happy White History Month. Yes. White History Month is about love for white people. If you don't love white people, you don't even love blacks or anybody else that you think you may love. Huh? True. But people equate white with hate because they're suckers. There's a brainwashing upon the culture. And you heard that on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. There's a supposedly white guy, David Smalley, atheist, liberal, Black Lives Matter supporter, thinks that, oh, if I say I love white people and I have a shaved head, I'll look like, he didn't say skinhead, but I'll look like a skinhead saying I love white people. What a shame. Can't even, but, you know, he doesn't love anybody. He's an atheist. And not even a logical atheist. He supports Black Lives Matter. What a sucker. Rafa says, I never heard from any Chinese standing for America in America. Immigrants are here to suck the life and wealth off America. Build that wall now. Interesting, man. Not all, but most of the black culture is evil, says Rafa. Yeah, the culture is so degenerate. And that's the culture that gets propped up and quote-unquote celebrated. What a disservice, right? Agent Black says, BLM, Black Lives Matter, only when a white person takes it. Yeah. Marcus Jones is a huge fan of what? I don't know, but Agent Black says he is. Nice. Adam Clark says, I am fairly certain that the FBI concluded it was not a hate crime. Yes, they did. They called it a noose, but it was not a hate crime. But Bubba is still rolling with it. He says, it was a noose. They said it was a noose. I'm so happy that it wasn't targeted at me. And you could just imagine, like, the sight of a noose, you know, making a noose. Ah, funny, it's a noose. But people have this false emotion about it, as if they were lynched or their family members were lynched. Oli La Verite 305, Ollie, says, Happy White History Month. Thank you, Ollie. Family 53511 says, putting my mom on the air, priceless. Wow, that's cool. Was she the Southerner that I talked to from Tennessee and then she moved to Wisconsin? That's cool. If that's you. Right on, son. Son of her, right? Not my son. Rafa says, I'm starting to believe that some people don't have a chance to turn to God after crossing the line, like their father Satan. Interesting. You know, you don't know. Leave it as an I don't know, I think. X Nitro says, fix that sheet. And the sheet that he's referring to is the constant, oppressive ending of my stream when I'm in the middle of a beautiful stream. Usually it's at the beginning of the show. So we're going to have a serious talk, young men. Whites got, like, no authority, even when they try to speak up for themselves. Stop. Stop letting my stream drop. We're trying. They can't do it without just leaning on the white woman to cuss at the people. But I liked how, at the beginning of the show, that white man was telling the truth about, even though he was letting his girlfriend or whoever she was paint over the Black Lives Matter sign in Martinez, California, he was telling the truth about the situation. I don't know if I agree with him about all lives matter. Innocent lives matter. Decent lives matter. Stand for the cops who are falsely maligned and smeared. It's such a disgrace to see Thomas Jefferson's so-called descendant wanting the Founding Fathers Memorial removed because he owned 600 slaves during his lifetime. So what? Slavery was not in itself an evil. Mistreatment of the slaves, I guess you could say that's evil. But the slavery itself, it was a reality of the time. It wasn't ideal, I guess. Maybe there's an argument for it to be called evil, I guess. But you don't need to be all melodramatic about it. And it's not a reason to take away the honor of an honorable man, Thomas Jefferson. In many ways, he was an honorable man. I've heard, bad things. I remember being told that he tore up the Bible. He was a deist. People have said things like that. I don't know what's true and what's not. But this guy wrote an opinion piece published in the New York Slimes. The failing New York Times, as President Trump rightly calls it. Lucian K. Truscott IV, who is a journalist, which is to say he's a sleazy person, not an honest person, noted that Jefferson's motto was, all men are created equal. I don't know if that was his motto, but he said it in the Declaration of Independence, right? I think that's when he said it. He wrote it. And his ancestor, supposedly, his ancestor, never did much to make those words come true. Are you kidding me? They set the stage for America to be free, all Americans to be free. And now the blacks are a little too free, meaning they're free to do evil and not free to do good. And now this man is being a sleazy person. Lucian K. Let me drag a picture of this guy into the folder. Right in there. See if it goes in there, hopefully. Man. Did you have to restart Studio 4 at all? No. It's not one. Okay. Oh, man. Let me screenshot it. This is from the Sun. Supposedly a descendant of Thomas Jefferson. I don't even know if that's true. You know what I mean? These people. Screenshot going in the folder. There it is. Lucian K. Truscott. He described how he and his brother, the great-grandsons, as if they're the only ones, and as if they should be listened to. This is about the country. It's not about you anymore, you sleazy person. Especially if you're a journalist, it means you're a liberal, brainwashed person. Took the Jefferson Memorial for granted as children. They used to play at Jefferson's ancestral home, Monticello. That's over, I think, in Charlottesville. Once a beautiful city, now it's run by evil people, liberals, who did not protect its citizens by not protecting the alt-right from Antifa, and therefore fights broke out and craziness ensued. The blacks attacked the alt-right as well over there in the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, and death occurred. It's the politicians' fault. He said, it was where all of our great-grandparents and great-aunts and great-uncles were buried, and where one day we were told we would be buried too. That's morbid. We didn't need the Jefferson Memorial. Monticello was enough. He added, it's still enough. In fact, as a memorial to Jefferson himself, it's almost perfect. And that is why his memorial in Washington should be taken down and replaced. With what? Described by the National Park Service as a shrine to freedom, it is anything but. What a liar. Let me show you guys the Jefferson Memorial, according to The Sun. It's shared by Getty Images. Don't copy strike me. Getty Images, whatever. The Jefferson Memorial. Dang. I'm going to take a few screenshots and share these with you in a moment. But this guy is not a sane person. You see the word journalist, you pretty much know that they have a liberal anti-truth bias. That is just a fact. And they should not be listened to. Truscott describes the memorial as a shrine to a man who during his lifetime owned more than 600 slaves and had at least 6 children with one of them, Sally Hemings. So he claims, which I don't know that that's even true. And so what if it was? So, such lies and sleazy people. These are not honorable people who are trying to take down this is the Jefferson Memorial. And it's credit to Getty Images. It's from the Sun is sharing it on their website. Check it out. And if you go to D.C., visit it. He was a more honorable man than his descendants. Isn't that always the way? King David was an honorable man, even though he made some errors in his lifetime. And then his son, Solomon, was less so. The wisest man ever, but got with the ladies. Too many ladies worshiping other gods, I think, right? Man, it's so crazy. And then they're attacking the Confederate monuments. Other honorable men. And then there's these I talked yesterday about these blacks who went to Stone Mountain over in Georgia, where they had a beautiful carving of Jefferson Davis, General Robert E. Lee, and I think somebody else. And the KKK went there and rekindled their group back in 1915. And these blacks who take themselves too seriously, but not that serious, not seriously enough to where they don't have a cuss word in their name. NFAC, something like that, not effing around coalition, marching in Georgia's Stone Mountain as if they're actually protecting their fellow black people. They're not, because black violent crime is so out of control. I've talked about that yesterday. What a mess. But there's a Florida community, nice to know, that is going to vote on putting up a Confederate monument. That's nice. So-called racist passed. And these journalists call people racist and white supremacists. I thought you're supposed to be objective. That is a subjective statement. You're pretending that you can read people's minds. And it's not true. These people acting like... it's so crazy. Self-righteous, evil people. The sleaziest people that you want to know are so-called journalists. Very dishonest, the enemy of the people. And Trump, that's one other thing that you can appreciate about Trump. He is endlessly attacking the lying liberal media. And rightly so. It's crazy. I'm happy, too, because I have some haters. That's nice, too. When we first started the Hake report with Joel and Esteban saw some, angry comments under some of our stuff. Like, oh, yeah, we have haters now. Legit. That's cool. Okay, hold on. I got some super chats to just double check and read. I marched with BLM. I didn't want to. They stole my car. Says fan of the ladies. I gave a diamond and said so. Wow. Well, but a stand-up says people died constructing Mount Rushmore. Wow. These commie activists want it blown up. Send them to brimstone. Meaning, they're already in hell. That's why they want to spread their hell and make you mad and us mad. Don't get black-pilled. If you do, you're a sucker. Have faith, all right? Whatever YouTube does or anybody else, we can still push what's right. Louis, out of Idaho. It's good to hear from you, Louis. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Right on.
You know what? Why is it okay that I get called the N-word with an A, and I say, look, I don't feel comfortable with that,
So black people call you Nga, and we're good.
Yep. And they say, oh, it's all right. Oh, I said, is it okay if I call you that? They said, yeah, just don't put no ER in the end. I'm like, whatever, man. That's not cool.
Yeah,
it
isn't. It's an imposition on the freedom of speech, and on principle, that's wrong.
I've been called cracker before. You know what? So what?
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right. Yeah, and that's the spirit that the blacks need to re-embrace. Not being, and honestly, they don't care. They don't care about that because, well, partly because they know and they're so vindictive that if a black person uses it, the white person will lose their job or get in trouble for it in some way or other.
I know, exactly, man.
So they enjoy when a white does it.
Consequences for the whites, for the crackers, for the,
Yeah, it's so backwards. But
everything is backwards. MLB is backwards. MLB, BLM is MLB backwards.
Oh, Major League Baseball?
Pastime.
The American pastime. Yep. Man, how far we've fallen. Away from decency. Away from straightforward honesty. Martin Luther Bro. Yeah, I appreciate it, Louis. It's good to hear from you, man.
All right, thank you. We'll talk again. Bye.
All right, take care. Peter, first-time caller out of Arkansas. Peter, what's up?
Oh, not a whole lot. I'm just your average Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I was pretty taken aback. I've been listening to Jesse Lee Peterson for a little bit, and then I finally caught yours.
Nice.
And I got past, and actually 2 rings, and I don't know what to say.
2 rings? Oh, right. You got in.
I knew I was getting in.
Yeah. Right on.
I suppose the one thing I read this morning that they deployed the National Guard in Atlanta, and the whole defund the police thing. And I was in the military. I was military police. So
yeah.
The police are very close to my heart, and I disagree with all of it completely. And if they want to defund the police, I'm completely for send in the federal.
Yeah.
We have to keep our citizens safe, and that's what the police are there for.
I was talking with a black man actually, who, he's one of the more sane people, right? He said that he doesn't expect riots to be happening in Atlanta, but it is corrupt down there, he said, and it plainly is. They have that Keisha Lance Bottoms, who said that she has COVID, by the way. Pretty black woman, but she's evil. Pretty evil. But she declared the governor of Georgia. Is that Kemp, a Republican? I can't remember. Yeah. But he declared a state of emergency and activated, I read this in Hake News, as many as 1,000 National Guard members, citing weeks of dramatically increased violent crime and property destruction in Atlanta. And that's been happening in these major cities around the world. Around the country, probably the world too. It's crazy.
I was watching some other YouTube. I'm trying to get caught up.
Yeah.
And all these people saying, it's not that bad. It's not that bad in this area. And someone, I think it was on the other chat, they said they started a GoFundMe to send somebody to one of these areas. I'm like, well, shoot, let's just start a GoFundMe to send everybody that says, oh, it's not that bad, to go live in these areas and tell me it's not that bad.
Exactly.
I know what wartime is like, and that's why I have my own little area in where I am, and say, you stay over there.
Yeah.
You want to come on my property, I'm going to protect myself. It's my property, not yours.
Yeah.
And,
we need a return to property rights. People, they're taking away people's property rights.
Taking away people's basic rights.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not okay. Peaceful protest, do what you want to do, but leave everybody alone.
Yeah.
And I'm completely for the government stepping in, the federal government stepping in on states, but it does have to be the state to decide whether they want them in or not. And then they can't turn around and blame it on the federal.
Yeah.
It's not their problem. They said, hey, we're here to support you.
You
Tell me when
know,
you need it.
people talk about peaceful protests. How about some protests that are based on truth? Or how about some just speech that's based on truth? Because, protests are such a communist thing. That's what they use to provide cover for destruction, because that's what they're doing. They're providing cover for destruction. They're giving the enemies of America who are in the American government, local and federal and state, an excuse to destroy the country by saying, oh, see, the people want this. And it's so destructive, and it's all based on lies. Typical commie stuff, huh?
In my personal opinion, the most a protest should go is 2 or 3 people sitting in a library, looking up the specific laws, regulations, whatever it is that is holding a prejudice against these people, and fighting that. Not a general government, that one specific thing.
Yeah, right.
You get a lot further.
Yep.
Less people would die.
I appreciate it, Peter. Thank you, man. Call again.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Violent crime, like I told you it was happening in Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, Atlanta too. It's crazy. And it's very predictable. And so that's Black Lives Matter, the worst thing for the blacks. More blacks are getting killed now. You're welcome. You're welcome should say Black Lives Matter should say, you're welcome, blacks. We're leaving you to die more. Taking away the cops, taking away the rule of law. Such a shame. By the way, I'm wearing a t-shirt. It is a Christian band, or it was a Christian band, and it's called Woven Hand, right? But it has, I think this is Joan of Arc. I'm like, it's White History Month. Was Joan of Arc white? I don't know. But she was nicknamed the Maid of Orleans. Orleans? I don't know. She was a heroine for France, not to be confused with the drug. For her role during the Lancastrian phase of the 100 Years' War, canonized as a Roman Catholic saint. Born to Jacques of Arc and Isabelle Romay, a peasant family in France. Was she burned at the stake or something like that? I don't know. But I just thought I would wear it. I'm like, this is a nice shirt. I forgot that I owned it. So if anybody who knows anything about Joan of Arc, what's that? She was burned at the stake?
Yeah, we at one time we did a routine, a dance themed show based around, and my character was not my character, but the theme of my class was Joan of Arc. So
wow.
She was burned at the stake, yeah.
Dang. For what? What did she do wrong? I mean, I know that she was like, I see her dressed up in all this like metal armor stuff. So she was a female soldier or something,
She was
right?
a female soldier, yeah. I don't know exactly. I didn't read too much into it, but I know that she was a female soldier and she was hated.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, they ended up burning her at the stake. But I don't know exactly for what reason.
She died at like age 19. Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder, I don't know. And, present day, they like to prop her up because she was a woman. Because they like to prop up women as being tough. I don't know. Was she that tough if she got caught and burned at the stake? No offense. I don't know. I don't know the story. But, just a little piece of French history. The French are evil. There was this French, and I say that because if I think about the French Revolution, that was when, I think they wanted to copy America and be free. But they did it in such the wrong way. They're chopping off the heads of the aristocrats, right? Something like that. What a mess. It's the wrong way to go about it. And the whites today, there's this saying, and it's a true statement, but it's a disgrace in both cases. Oh, she was burned at the stake for heresy, says the History Channel. But when there's this saying that I've heard over and over, that whites are nice until they're not. And for one thing, it's wrong to be nice, because nice means you're going to roll over, let people run over you more than you should. And then it's wrong to be not nice, because they end up overreacting and evil or whatever. And, you know, in families, you'll see this a lot, where the man may be hold it in, and then blow up. Nice until he's not, right? Or the woman, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of a female thing to do, but men catch this disease too. It's so backwards. But I'm happy that President Trump is fighting for the preservation of our culture. It's so nice. And he is nice, but he is also right, which is so cool. And I'm so happy that he also referenced the flag being taken down from NASCAR, right? The banning of the Confederate flag. I told you about his tweet early in the show. And he called to preserve the statues. And they should be preserved. These are decent people, better than you. So crazy. So many lies. I can't stand it. Oh, let me just double check. Ice Wall Bear gave a super chat and said, Hake streams matter. Yes, they do. You hear that, Joel and Black Engineer? Are you going to fix it? We got to fix it, man. Oh, let me tell you guys a little more about Charlie Daniels. Charlie Daniels, the news came out. He died yesterday. He was the famed fiddler and an outspoken star. And follow Jesse on Twitter, @JLP Talk. When I was producer, early on when I was producer, it was 2013. And I came on the scene in October 2013. And I wasn't even really producing in October. But I was still being trained. But Charlie Daniels, the country and Western music singer, he's saying the devil went down to Georgia. He died at 83, and I don't think it was of COVID, but I don't know. Country Music Hall of Famer. He was speaking out. He was not nice. He was speaking out against Obama in those years. That was several years ago, 2013, right? I wonder what he thought of President Trump. We didn't get to get him back on the show, at least not recently, since Trump came on the scene. But he would write articles and be telling the truth. Just an old school guy. Right on to him. 83, that's older than a boomer. We're opening the treasure chest. 83 is older than a boomer, right? And so he was, those guys are old school. And yes, I have seen a lot of attacks on these old men who, you know, they spend their time bragging about these stories where they pulled a gun on this guy, pulled a gun on that guy when they're being threatened or whatever. And we do need our rights, right? But there is something refreshing in that culture that has been lost in ours. Each generation like loses something, seemingly. So he was for the military. He loved the military. He toured for like over 40 years. That's cool. I mean, a lot of people tour for 40 years, right? Even the Rolling Stones, and they're degenerate, blind people. Every bit as dumb as, well, not every bit as dumb, as Taylor Swift, who says white supremacy is the worst thing ever. Man, how far our culture has fallen. That's why we have to overcome the culture and not be sucked into all of this entertainment, music, sports, and stuff, because they've gone after them and they've been subverted. Southern rock, classic country, storytelling. That's what he was about. His wife is still alive, Hazel. Has his son Charles Williams Daniels. I wonder if he's a good guy. Hopefully so. And he has some grandchildren. born in October 28th, 1936 in Wilmington, North Carolina. I did mention this. Grew up inspired by church music. Man, it's such a shame what happens to people that they grew up in the church. Not so much Charlie Daniels, he seemed like a decent man. But there's these guys and gals that grew up in the church like Elvis Presley. And because he just lived a miserable life seemingly towards the end of his life. And Aretha Franklin. I heard footage of her singing in a church, and there's these black church people encouraging her to be stronger in her voice, right? And be bolder. They're all in, that's how they get their confidence, right? And then she lives a horrible life and she gets this hero's funeral, but she's like married a bunch of times. I don't know if she was married a bunch of times, but she was miserable and was not a good mother, really, from what I've heard. And so it's just the churches are doing a disservice. And meanwhile, people think that, oh, black people take Christianity more seriously than the white Christians do, because they believe that the Bible is the word of God. So fake. Such a shame. Anyways, let me just double check. Back to the church, says Mobetta Stand Up. Thank you for the support, Mobetta. Appreciate that. And he says, Kushner.org, locally planned, waiting for Fed to pounce. Sorry, federal is infested too. It takes people being right. Yeah, that's true. We gotta not rely on this government stuff, including Trump, to stand up for us. We have to do it ourselves for what's right, in the right way. Thank you, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JesseLeePeterson.com/show for the Jesse Lee Peterson show stuff. And RebuildingTheMan.com/church has the silent prayer, the new church services, and the old church services. Nice, huh? Take care.